The second season of Toyota GR Cup North America rolls into America's National Park of Speed, Road America. It's been a wet and wild weekend thus far in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. A brief squall just came through the central part of the state. It leaves the track dry, or wet I should say, but drying as the rain has ceased and we get ready to go for the first of two races here this weekend. Hello, my name is Ryan Marine. DJ Clark is alongside, joining me now in the pit lane after hustling up from pit lane duties, joins me in the booth. And DJ, we're ready to go here, and I'm so excited. My first chance to see in person this Toyota GR Cup. Always puts on a show.
It certainly does, and with the changing of the conditions here at Road America, it is going to put on a spectacular show. We've seen these cars in changeable conditions before. They always put on a good race, and today is going to be absolutely no exception.
Well, it is a wild day with the rain that we've had come in. The track is still damp. We just completed the GT America powered by AWS race. That was held in wet conditions. I mean, it was raining for most of it. The track's still damp, as you could see, but by the end of that race, a dry line was starting to form. Makes it an interesting decision now for these GR Cup teams. What do you do from a setup and tire perspective?
Well, the traditional thought process for a lot of these cars has been to stick to the slick tires for the majority of the season. I think back to last year at Circuit of the Americas, that is certainly something they wanted to do. They wanted to be able to get those slick tires on, even when we saw the changeable conditions. But the thing we've got to be talking about here today for the majority of this race, who can catch Gresham Wagner and who can catch the rest of this Copeland Motorsports cadre, as Mia Lovell, Jackson Bell, Weston Workman, everybody putting in great performances here, locking down 4 of the top 5 positions.
Well, the answer to that question for most of the season has been no one. No one has been able to head Gresham Wagner, with only 2 exceptions. He has been the dominant force in the championship, building on a campaign last year where he flexed his muscle. He showed a lot of strength, but was deprived of the ultimate prize.
Yeah, he certainly was. And this year we saw Jackson Bell take the first nick out of him at Circuit of the Americas, and Weston Workman's been there as well, really fighting their way up. So it's always constant battles between them, but I'm going to put our attention here to Spike Kolbecker, the number 55 machine. He's going to be one to really watch out for. Lucas Weisenberg for Lucas Racing, also going to be one to keep an eye out for. Lucas is one of those small team drivers. He is always willing to put his way forward, fight his way forward. He's going to be a little bit aggressive probably, but that's just the way he likes to drive it, and that's the way we love to see him drive.
Well, he's been fun to watch over the course of the season this year. One-car team fighting against some of these bigger behemoths within the GR Cup paddock. I've been really impressed with the performances, the giant-killing performances that he's been able to bring to the table, and it's fun to see that even a smaller operation can still go toe-to-toe in a series like this one where the machinery is equal across the board.
Exactly, and that's one of the great things that we have about this series. It's really pretty incredible to be able to see. And all of these drivers, no matter who they are, they have always been able to put their way forward, and it is equal playing fields across the board. And included in that, one of the drivers that came in at the halfway point of last year, really gets Sebring, the penultimate round, Jordan Rick Segrini. Absolutely remarkable driver. Ryan, we're seeing here that the race will start behind the safety car. Clearly, race control is still a little bit worried about the drying conditions on this track. And with this being a development series, I think this is less about necessarily safety concerns and more about just making sure these drivers know what to expect.
Yeah, prudent choice, I think, to do that, to give drivers a chance to see the conditions for a couple of laps before they go and take the green, especially so if some are electing to start on the slick tires, because yes, there are sections of the track that are dry or mostly dry. You can see the dry line down the front straightaway there, but even towards the end of the GT America race that preceded this, places especially down in Canada Corner, some of the other lower lying areas around this track still did show a great deal of puddling, and with that in mind, you want to make sure everything is ready to go, especially for those that might have made the choice to start on the slick tires.
Yeah, you just want to make sure that everybody has an idea of what's coming on. And one of the drivers here that we also need to focus on, and that's the driver of the number 35 BSI racing machine, Yuki Sano. He is a Japanese driver that has come on into the series here. Absolutely remarkable. Coming on in first time. Can you imagine this, Ryan? His first time getting to this track, and he's got to be competing here in the rain. but he did a fantastic job. I mean, qualifying 13th in a very, very stacked field. Yuki has done his homework.
Yeah, one of two drivers, actually, that have come from Japan to join the series for the weekend, the other being Kazuhisa Urabe. Both of them are part of the Toyota Gazoo Racing Driver Challenge program, which is hard at work in Japan developing the next wave of great young Japanese talent, not just for the domestic market, and Japanese motorsport is so strong, as we know, with Super GT and Super Taikyu, Super Formula, things like that, but also to send some of the talent overseas and compete abroad. And this is a great opportunity, not just to race in the U.S., but to be a part of the driver development program that Toyota Racing Development has done stateside. It's been really cool to see the opportunities given to these two young men.
Yeah, it very much has, and it is always good to see that sort of cross-pollination coming across from different parts of the motorsport world, so we're very excited to welcome that in.
Did you know they got a chance to test a Pro late model as well as a winged micro sprint as part of their 2-week stay here in the States? That's pretty neat.
I want that.
Yeah,
I want
me
to be
too.
able to go do that.
But it shows you just to what level Toyota is involved in motorsports of all types. Everything from, you know, your hypercar and the WEC to GR Cup here, NASCAR, of course, and the dirt track and short track ranks too.
Yeah, it's absolutely remarkable, and we are so thankful for Toyota being a part of this series, being a part of the SRO Motorsports Group America calendar, and really coming on board here in such a fantastic way, Ryan. We're going to go through the grid here. As we said earlier, Gresham Wagner will lead the way over Weston Workman. Those are two Copeland Motorsports teammates going to be starting on the front row. The third one, Jackson Bell, will start third place. Jackson, who was pole sitter at race 1 at VIR. Then it's Spike Kolbecker for Tech Sport Racing, Neil Lovell, another Copeland Motorsports driver, and Lucas Weisenberg. We already talked about those top 6 here and how they start to shake out. Jordan Rick-Segrini, another fantastic qualifying performance in P7. Ford Cook and that Eagles Canyon Racing powered by Fast Track Machine, he'll start 8th. Then it's Alex Garcia and Stephen Clements round out your top 10.
To the 6th row of the grid, Christian Weir will start in the 11th position next to Devin Anderson from the Tech Sport Racing team. In row number 7, Yuki Sano, who we talked about earlier, starts next to Bennett Muldoon. Those are positions 13 and 14. 15 and 16 belong to Casey Mishore and Henry Drury. In row number 8, row 9, Luke Rumberg and Kazuhisa Urabe from Japan. Finally, row 10, Max Hewitt and Farron Davis.
As we move back into row 11, it will be Maddie Oust making her start here, and Andrew Gilliland will be 22nd. Maddie's been one of those ones that you kind of have to keep your eye on as a great mid-pack runner. James Klimas will start off in 23rd, then Armand Lano will be in 24th. Alfonso Diaz will start off 25th. Aiden Kirk will be 26th, and rounding out the back of the field will be Jade Avedizian. Jane's one to watch. I think she's going to try to move her way up through the field. She's picked up a couple of Segra highest finishing female awards over the course of the year. She's really going to be fun to watch in that Mobil 1 machine move their way up through the field.
And you know what? You often do see drivers with some dirt track experience excel in changeable wet to dry kinds of conditions too, because she's used to looking for the line around the dirt track and chasing that grip as it moves over the course of the race. Her dirt track credentials really don't need any introduction, right? She's raced at the Chili Bowl. She's won a championship, a midget championship in Australia. She is an excellent dirt track driver, and these conditions might be exactly what she needs to make a big charge through the field.
Well, one of the things that I most noticed this year and last year when I was watching these GR Cup cars, particularly coming down through Canada Corner, just how sideways they were getting and really chucking the car into the corner and letting it rotate that way as you catch the car. And I think that's a lot of what you're going to see out here today. And once again, that could very well favor the likes of Yuki Sano, who's now had a little bit of dirt track experience, as well as Jade and anybody else who's been able to go out and tear it up on the dirt.
So as you can see, the lights are still on the safety car here. We anticipated the safety car start, and that's indeed what we will get. The clock has begun to roll, however. The anticipation is at least 1, probably 2 laps behind the safety car as the track continues to dry out, just to make sure everyone knows what conditions await them at the drop of the green flag, and to make sure that everyone's made the correct tire choice for those conditions. But as ever, a great field of cars. This has been such a successful program now in its 2nd year. A big part of that is the contingency money that's there. There's real prize money to be won, which is a cool thing to say in modern road racing, but just the fact that these cars are so accessible for teams and drivers, and they're equal across the board. It sets up for fun racing, but also a chance to really make a name for yourself and climb that ladder with the help of Toyota.
And we are expecting a safety car restart here, so that should be single file order. It is expected single file order. The green flag will be able to fly a little bit earlier than we would expect, and we do have that special starter here today that will be waving the green flag. Excuse me. Very, very excited about that to be able to have out here today. It's Elliott Lawrence, the Mobil 1 Golden Ticket winner, a contest that Mobil 1 has been doing over the course of the year, finding some fans in the paddock and giving them an opportunity to either take out a test drive in a GR86 or wave the flag. Absolutely incredible.
It's a great way to get fans involved in the sport, give them a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and a big year for Mobil 1, celebrating a big anniversary here this year as well. So great initiative, awesome to have their support in the paddock and to see what they're doing with the outreach to the fans. And good to see so many fans make the way out to the track here today. The forecast was not super promising, and we did see some of that rain, but awesome to see. Hey, there's a dirt track fan. He's probably seen Jade race.
Probably has. There you see him getting ready, and that is, again, Elliott Lawrence, the Mobil 1 Golden Ticket winner. Now, he's going to get a big slap on the back here from our starter, Tom Hansing. And that's going to be his sign to throw it. Now, what's going to be interesting about that is, as opposed to, as we said, as opposed to the normal way this would go, where you throw it and everybody comes together, it's going to be a single file restart, and that restart zone is a little bit farther back on the track. It's going to be coming out of that final corner.
It is. The other difference from a regulations perspective is on the initial start, the too wide start, you have to stay in your column until you reach the start-finish line. Because this is being judged a restart, once the green flag comes out, you are racing. You can start to make a move immediately and not be penalized. So that will be something that those that know the rules have a chance to capitalize on, and those that might not know the rules, they could find themselves on the back foot.
Yeah, and as we said a little bit earlier, there are wet Continentals that do go on the track here at this point, but we think the majority of these cars are going to be on the slicks. I've been told by the drivers that you really want to go on those wet Continentals when it is absolutely chucking rain. The slicks, for whatever reason, you're able to make it work a little bit better here in the interchangeable conditions. Very similar to what we've seen in some of the other previous rain races we've had in GR Cup North America.
Well, if anyone did choose to go on the wet tires, they're going to need to really baby those things and hope for another rain shower, because this is quickly drying out with the help of some sunshine, which has been elusive, a commodity we haven't had much of over the course of the weekend up to this point, but it comes out just in the nick of time, because it looks like we're set to go racing here with 37 minutes still on the clock.
All right, well, here comes Gresham Wagner working his way out of that final corner. Weston Workman, Jackson Bell going to be right behind him. Workman very, very close here at this point as they come out of the final corner and put the pedal to the metal as we look towards the flag stand. That restart zone has been hit, and we are officially racing here at Road America as the green flag is in the air. Elliott Lorenz waving the green flag. It's a good start all around. We've got a couple of wide going back through the field, and already a challenge. Weston Workman trying to work to the inside.
Workman looking to the inside in the orange and white machine, gets to the flank of Wagner and is able to hang on to that spot. He takes it away. Here comes Jackson Bell looking aggressive as well, looking to the inside, but it's not done up front. Contact there between Workman and Wagner, still side by side in the battle for the lead.
And I think there Wagner's feeling a little bit hard done. He almost got pushed off the road there, and that looked like he was being very, very not happy with his teammate as they came back onto the track. Workman's now going to settle in behind Gresham Wagner. Jackson Bell holding on to third, and there we see a little bit of a poke out there behind. That's going to be Spike Kohlbecker trying to make up some positions.
Yeah, Kohlbecker qualified fourth outside of the second row, looking strong. Here's the run down into turn 5 at speed for the first time. Wagner holds the spot. Ooh, Workman just shuts the door on Jackson Bell, and it's a side-by-side moment further back.
Yeah, and that, I believe, is Jordan Riggs-Sagrini getting involved in that here at this point. Lucas Weisenberg falling back backup position to Rick Segrini. They come across the line. Your top 4 unchanged. No, excuse me, that's Mia Lovell that has worked her way forward. My apologies there. Mia's up into 5th place already, so a great restart for the young Copeland Motorsports driver.
Yeah, she's had some really good performances at times this season, not had the consistent finishes that she's looking for, but it's not been a surprise to see her running top 5 week in and week out within the Toyota GR Cup Series. Wagner, hard fought, but he does hold the lead through the carousel, and you can see them searching for grip here. If you get offline, I do wonder just how much grip is available to you, given the rain shower we had within the last hour or so.
Oh, and a big wide run there, barely able to hold on to it, is Jordan Rick Segrini. That's going to open up the door here for, I believe, that is that... No, that's Ford Cook trying to make his way up into the inside there as they go, so they're going to let that play out. A little bit of almost side-by-side action coming through the kink. These drivers are all over it.
Yeah, that would be another level of aggression on lap 1 to try and go side-by-side in the kink when it's wet offline. Boy, Lovell drops a wheel there on the outside in Canada corner. Great save to haul that thing back under control. Able to set off once more in pursuit of Cole Becker. Oh, and problems further back in the pack.
Yeah, that looks like the number 50 machine there of Casey Mashore having a little bit of problem. I couldn't tell who that was that they collected, but not a good run there for Casey. Looking a little farther up into the field, that's going to be the number 13 under heavy pressure from the 90.
Oh, you can see the wetness just beyond the curb. They're offline, and as they put the power down, the rear of the car kicks out spectacularly. Couple of great saves at the exit of turn 14. First lap at speed complete, and it's Gresham Wagner by a half a second over Weston Workman and Jackson Bell.
Stephen Clements and Christian Weir going to be going side by side here at this point. That's the Skip Barber Racing School driver in Tech Sport Racing. As we take a look back at the leaders diving down into turn 1. None of the aggressiveness that we saw out of them on the first lap, but a great little battle starting to develop farther back in the field. Weisenberg, Rick Segrini, and Garcia. Garcia taking a look to the inside.
Big dive up the inside of Rick Segrini there. That's the 14 of Garcia, who's already raced today. It was on a dry track, though, in the TC America race earlier this afternoon. Still side by side as they can't get it settled out in turn 3. It'll go down to turn 5 at least in that battle. That's for 7th and 8th.
And that was an interesting thing there. We just saw Jackson Bell moving his way all the way to driver's right, or driver's left rather, maybe trying to cool the tires a little bit, maybe just trying to get into the head of drivers around. Whoa, big squiggle there for the 76 of Stephen Clements. He is lucky he did not get into the side of Christian Weir coming down into turn 5.
It's just inside the top 10, the fight for 9th and 10th. 76 car is Clements. He's got Yuki Sano just behind, one of those drivers that's joining us for the first time this weekend from Japan, has experience in Japanese single-seater racing, and is under the tutelage of the Toyota Gazoo Racing folks. Here's the move to the inside, number 35, that is Sano. He gets side by side with Stephen Clements there on the run into the carousel.
Clements gave him a little bit of a how you doing there at that point, but it looks like now Sano's going to try to go around the outside here, holding it around the carousel. Now remember, we could not really see that move happen last year, courtesy of the repave, but Yuki Sano says, you know what, I'm doing it, sends him around the outside and makes it stick, move Yuki Sano up into P10.
Hey, he wasn't here last year, so he's figuring this out for the first time. He's going to go check it out and see what's available as he makes that move, stick around the outside. Finished 7th in the Japanese F4 Championship a year ago with a couple of podium finishes. He's racing there again this season, too.
Yeah, and he's doing a spectacular job. Next up on his hit list is going to be Christian Weir in that Tech Sport Racing number 71. This battle, though, right now, is it looks like Jackson Bell's been able to get around his teammate Weston Workman, and now Bell is going to have his eyes set forward on Gresham Wagner.
You can tell it's not totally dry yet because we've got the windshield wipers going back and forth on a whole lot of these cars. Probably not for Gresham Wagner, who's got a clear windscreen out ahead of him, but we'll see what kind of pace he has relative to Bell now that Bell is clear of Workman in that fight for 2nd and 3rd. 31 minutes still to go in the first of 2 races here this weekend, and it seems every which way you look, you've got a battle to call.
Yeah, and this one right here, that was Yuki Sano, but we've got to check back up at the front because here comes Weston Workman and here comes Spike Kohlbecker. A little bit of left rear to right front contact. Oh, great crossover there for Spike Kohlbecker. Almost got it done coming through turn one. Spike is hungry here. He wants that podium.
He certainly does. He comes in third in points. He finished third in the championship a year ago with a couple of wins. Added to that win tally earlier this year with the victory in race one at VIR, and right now he's fighting for yet another podium. He's been a fixture on the podium, 3 straight, in fact, entering this weekend.
Yeah, and that incident that we saw earlier with Casey Shore and the number 36 machine, that is under review right now. That was Urabe, by the way, so one of the other Japanese drivers that we saw coming on in. That incident is under review from race control. Looks like a little bit of a wide run there. I think that was from Lucas Weisenberg. It's about the second or third time I've seen Lucas just have a little bit of problems coming down into the braking into turn 5.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, as we take a look there at the championship running, Gresham Wagner out in front of the field, as you would imagine, but look at how close that is from second to fourth. Very, very close running. Weston Workman, Jackson Bell, Spike Kohlbecker, and oh yeah, that's second, third, and fourth on the track.
Yeah, that's right. So they know what's at stake. Maybe it's not a battle for a championship at this stage because Wagner, he's won all but 2 races this season. He's got firm control over the title hunt, but there's still a few scraps left to pick up from the bottom side of the table, and that's exactly what they're trying to do. Get up to second, get up to third, whatever the case may be. Still a very close battle behind Wagner on the racetrack, but as well in the point standings.
Alex Garcia looks like he's going to try to make a move here on Spike Kohlbecker, going down through the cattle bottoms. He's got it done before they even get into the braking zone for Canada Corner. Absolutely fantastic there at that as they come on through. Kohlbecker going to try to hold in, and Garcia able to just roll speed through that corner, and he is now glued to the rear bumper here of Weston Workman.
Clouds starting to roll back in over Road America, and I've got a couple scouts positioned around the racetrack. I'm getting reports of sprinkles down in turn 8, so this could be interesting before it's all said and done, because we think that everybody, at least all the front runners, started on the slick tires. There could be rain coming before this 28 minutes and 38 seconds is up.
Alex Garcia makes that move on Weston Workman, just able to carry great momentum coming through Canada Corner all the way to the start-finish line. Workman looks like he may want that back. A little bit of a separation here as that's going to be Garcia moving back to the traditional racing line. Going to block all of that off here at this point. And now it looks like Kohlbecker wants a piece of Workman, but that's Garcia very wide for one.
Whoa, that is outside of the track limits there in turn 1. I suspect there'll be a warning issued for that. Garcia now vulnerable to this move up the inside from Workman. It's been a busy day already for Garcia. I mentioned his TC America race, but just in this race, he's charged from 9th on the grid, was 3rd, trying to hang on to 3rd right now, but it's a 3-way battle, and that's by no means done.
And look at this up at the front of the field. Here comes young Jackson Bell trying to make the move on Gresham Wagner down into the braking zone 4, turn 5. Bell to the inside. He's got it done.
Wow, that was a power move inside the championship leader made there by Jackson Bell. Already a race winner once this season, but now what will Gresham Wagner do, finding himself in a position he has not been in too often this year, with a car in front of him that he needs to pass for position.
Well, and Gresham's going to be used to a 2-car fight like this. If we think back to last year, it was a 2-car slugfest between Wagner and the eventual champion and winner of the race, Tyler Gonzalez. They were locked together for the last pretty much 5-10 laps of that race. So Wagner's going to have a little bit to do here. And look at that. I love that shot. Coming through the carousel, you can see just how much opposite lock is going through those cars.
Those cars are spectacular to watch slide through there, doing a marvelous job of car control. Jackson Bell now to the point, leading Gresham Wagner, but there are battles all throughout this field, including the hard charger of the race so far, Yuki Sano, who has raced his way up to 6th. He's got a shot at the top 5 here into Canada Corner.
This is a really impressive run from Sano here, as they're Garcia able to get by Wagner as well. Sano going to try to send the move onto the inside of Workman and work his way into the top 5, but Wagner's lost 2 positions.
And he's about to, or Bell's about to lose the lead to Garcia. The way this is going, he's been flying the last few laps. He's been the fastest car on track, has Garcia. Just set the fastest lap again the last time by, has run down the leaders, finds himself second, and is looking to take the lead.
Ooh, and carrying so much momentum there through the final corner that Garcia almost got a little bit sideways here at this point. Bell tried to feed him off to the inside, but Garcia able to get the move, and Garcia to the point of the field.
Wow, impressive stuff from the native from Miami, Florida, whose best finish on the season, DJ, is 6th at Sebring, but he's out in front right now with Jackson Bell hot on his heels. Then it's the points leader, Gresham Wagner. Here's Yuki, though, looking up the inside. Yuki Sano pops inside of Kohlbecker, and that puts him inside the top 5, at least for the moment, because Kohlbecker's on the counterattack.
He's going to try to fight back on him there, and as you saw that, Sano just absolutely slipping and sliding down into the braking zone. He is driving that car on the ragged edge, but look at this. Gresham Wagner in a position that I don't think we've really seen him losing positions naturally on the track. This is remarkable. A fantastic run here from Garcia and Jackson Bell.
Garcia, though, will need to keep this in mind. A warning, rather, for blocking was just issued, so he will need to be circumspect in his defensive moves for the rest of this race. Whoa, leaders going wide there in turn 5. The rain's starting to pick up, and everyone starts to go for a slide. Track conditions have changed dramatically over the last 5 minutes, and a few have found that out to their peril.
Yeah, and that was Lucas Weissenberg and Mia Lovell that you saw skidding off to the inside. Not sure if there was contact or if that was 2 separate incidents that just happened in conjunction with each other. We check back. Jackson Bell thinking about a big move going down into turn 8, but Yuki Sano's also thinking about a big move on Spike Kohlbecker. He's going to look for the crossover here. Color me impressed, Ryan. This Sano kid can drive.
Yeah, fantastic drive from Yuki here so far, and he's putting the pressure on in the fight for 4th. In the meantime, Garcia has scampered off and left everyone in his wake. It's all about that battle now between Wagner and Bell. It's Wagner around Bell for the 2nd spot. For the moment, at least, that's the interesting battle, because Kohlbecker is closing in, and then also Sano in the mix. What a great fight here. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, through 6th as well. Weston Workman still hanging tough.
Yeah, Workman's going to try to hold on to this. He's going to hope that Sano's going to slow down Spike Kohlbecker when he tries to make the move, and Kohlbecker is running very defensively here. You saw him to the inside. Sano says, that's fine. I'll go around the outside of Canada corner, almost hop, skipping, and jumping over the curb. Sano gets it done.
And he's never been here before. This is fantastic from Yuki Sano. Excited we get to see him again tomorrow. He's been putting on a show and worth the price of admission here so far. That number 35 entry for Yuki Sano now inside the top 4.
Yeah, and I had a chance to talk to Yuki a little bit earlier in the week, and he was just grinning from ear to ear the entire time. He was so happy, so excited to be here, and he is proving his worth every corner by corner. I can't keep my eyes off the number 35.
Just recently came through the Toyota Gazoo Racing Driver Challenge School and was tabbed to join the Challenge program along with his countryman, Urabe, who is here this weekend as well. 2 promising young Japanese talents to keep an eye on into the future, whether it's in 10 tops or single-seaters. I suspect this won't be the last time we hear of these 2, given the performance we're seeing here today.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if we see them back. And look at this. Sano now lining up on the back of Copeland Motorsports' Jackson Bell, as Bell is forced to go defensive. Now moves back to the inside. That may warrant a little bit of a look by the stewards there. That could be moving in reaction, but we'll wait for them to decide.
Hey, DJ, we talked, as we watched this battle continue here, we talked at the start about Jade Avedisian, how she might like these conditions. She's got the fastest lap of the race now, and she's worked her way from the back of the pack up inside the top 15. Might get a chance to see her as she continues to make her way forward, but now Bell goes side by side again with with Wagner. Takes the second spot. Back in Sano, looks to follow him through. Side by side through 7. Not normally a place you can make that work, but he does. Around the outside and puts Sano into podium position.
Race fans, we are witnessing the arrival of Yuki Sano here at this point. This is a remarkable drive in very difficult conditions. He just put a move on a multiple race winner and made it just around the outside perfectly. He's now looking like he's going to get this move on Jackson Bell. Yes, Alex Garcia is 3 seconds up the road, but we still have 20 minutes left to go in this race, Ryan. I don't think this is done.
That is proper rain that we're seeing come down now as well. That's going to be fascinating here over the next 21 minutes. Sano, by the way, started back in 13. Well, he's up to second now. He moves to the inside of Jackson Bell. It'll be interesting here into the braking zone for Canada Corner as the rain starts to come tipping down, but moves Sano into second place.
He's got it done, and now he's got his eyes set on Alex Garcia. A move down to the inside on Bell. Didn't have to go the long way around, but yeah, the windshield wipers working furiously here down at this point. Interestingly, it doesn't look like we're getting too much outside of our commentary window. I think the front stretch is relatively clear, but definitely on that back half of the circuit, it is starting to chuck down rain.
Here's a theory for you. Do you think they rolled the dice and threw him out there on rain tires?
They could have. That's not outside of the realm of possibility here.
It wasn't totally clear what percentage of the grid did what. The race started in wet but drying conditions. There was no rain at the start of this one. The rain has started to come down, and as it has gotten wetter, we've seen Garcia and Sano both surge to the front, so it does make me wonder. They started mid-pack anyway, especially if you're Sano. You're not thinking about a championship. This is a one-off. You might as well roll the dice.
And we are hearing that from Race Control, that Continental advised everyone to start on wets. So it does look like everyone started on wets here at this point. So there's our theory out the window, but...
Maybe, though, they did a better job taking care of those rain tires when the track was starting to dry out. And that leaves them now with somewhat less blunt of a weapon to fight with over the final 20 minutes.
Yeah, very much so, as here comes a move. Mike Kohlbecker on the outside of Gresham Wagner. Wagner trying to hold tough. A little bit better in the braking zone. Going off there. Oh, that was Yuki Sano going a little bit wide, and it also looked like Weston Workman was that orange and yellow machine that you saw coming on in. Yeah, Yuki Sano off as, man, that rain is coming down through turn 6.
Good scrap, though, still. Wagner fighting hard to hang on to as much as he can. He led the early stages of this lap as Jackson Bell absolutely slides that car through turn 7. Oh, great car control on display at the front of this field. By the way, it's still Garcia showing the way. He's out in front to the tune of 3.2 seconds. But actually, Yuki Sano was quicker until he went off. So let's see what Sano can do charging back up through the field. There still is enough time, perhaps, for him to run down the race leader.
Yeah, he may still be able to do it. 18 minutes and 20 seconds thereabouts left on the clock, as it does look like there's some separation starting to form between Jackson Bell and Gresham Wagner. But here comes Kohlbecker side by side through the kink. Safety car out on the track.
Whoa, and a big slide there at the exit of the kink. That was almost a big one from Wagner. Safety car is out, and that breaks off this scrap. Waiting to see if this is due to an incident or simply deteriorating track conditions. I'm not sure everyone's got the message just yet, as Sano still looks like he's on full attack mode with 17 minutes left, but at least according to timing and scoring, the safety car should be out. Looking out our window, I do see double yellows at the flag stand. So we understand it is simply due to the track conditions that the yellow has been displayed, and we go back behind the safety car here at Road America.
Yeah, and good call here by Race Control. I mean, you can see there is some standing water out on the circuit here at this point, and especially down through that Kettle Bottoms run, it looked particularly treacherous. I don't know if that was Yuki necessarily still in attack mode, or if that was just a situation where there was so much water that he could not keep the car under control. One way or another, this is a good, prudent call here by Race Control.
Yep, I think so too. We had similar conditions to these at the start of the GT America race, and the decision at that time was made to start the race behind the safety car until things improved. And this is definitely in keeping with that kind of thought process from race control. So, great news for Alex Garcia, although bad news, his lead has gone away, but he does find himself still out in front, and if the rain keeps coming down the way it is, this could be a first win of the season for him in the blue and pink Skip Barber Racing School car. Jackson Bell, he's been in the wars, showing off his car control here today, fighting with the championship leader Gresham Wagner. I don't know if anyone wants it to go back to green more than Yuki Sano, who was flying in wet conditions just before the yellow came out.
Yeah, I mean, I think Yuki at this point just wants it to go back to green because I think it is a near certainty that he is going to maybe be able to gain one more position and get his way back onto the podium. Another driver that we talked about a little bit earlier that I want to bring up here, Jade Avedizian, up into 14th at this point, still holding on to that fastest lap of the race. So a great run there for Jade here at this point.
And again, we talked about the fact that there is a similarity between dirt track racing and racing in the rain, racing in wet or drying conditions. But that said, I don't know how much she actually has driven in the rain. It might be similar, but it isn't the same thing. I've been really impressed, and she still does have the fastest lap of the race down there in 14th at a 2:43.5, and she's doing that in the midst of all the spray, in the midst of all the traffic. Is remarkable stuff.
Yeah, that's a great drive from her. Very, very impressive, and just continuing to come in and really show her form here. There she makes her way through turn 6. Jade Avedizian setting that fastest lap of the race at 2:43.541.
And if you don't know her story, if you're more of a road racing fan, not so much a short track, dirt track fan, she is one of the up-and-coming stars in circle track racing right now. Won the Extreme Outlaw Midget Series Championship last year. She was 6th in the USAC National Midget Series last year with 5 top 3 finishes. And you go back to her history a little bit further, you know, she went down under and had a lot of success racing down in the short tracks of Australia and New Zealand. She won at the Tulsa Shootout a couple of times, which is a big prelim to the Chili Bowl. So on dirt tracks, in midgets in particular, she is one of the big names, but Toyota, recognizing that her future might be not just on the short tracks of the country, recognizes, hey, there's some value in putting her in one of these GR Cup cars, getting her some road racing experience, and you never know. This kind of experience right here could pay big dividends down the road.
Well, as somebody who grew up going to Kokomo and Gas City and places like that, Ryan, you're nodding because I know you know them just as well as I do. That kind of crossover is exactly the kind of thing you want to see. So many times we see that level of car control that comes from dirt track racing that you're able to transfer on into a road-going car, on a circuit car, and when that happens, it's amazing.
Yeah, for sure. Putnamville and Terre Haute and Bloomington were more my hunts, I would say. But made it up to Kokomo a few times. Never got to Gas City before it closed its doors. But certainly the heartland of this country is a wonderful place if you love your racing of all stripes, whether it's road racing at a great place like this here at Road America or the short tracks. I mean, Plymouth just down the road's got a wonderful dirt track as well. You're just surrounded by racing this time of the year here in the Midwest.
Yeah, you really are. And I got to tell you, I'm spoiled for choice because I went from one spiritual home of dirt track racing in Indiana to the other, which is California. So it kind of worked out perfectly in my favor. And speaking of California, we've got a Californian sitting in P2 in the form of Jackson Bell. Jackson doing a great job. He has really been one of the breakout stars here, I think, of this season. He was good last year. We saw him come on pretty strong at the end of last season. And this year, hooking up with Copeland Motorsports, he has come alive.
He has, and he comes out of the Skip Barber Formula Race Series, finished 3rd in that championship a year ago with 6 wins and 11 podiums. But to your point, his burst onto the scene this year has only finished off the podium once in the last 6 races, including a race win in race 2 at Circuit of the Americas. So it's great to see him have that success. But right now, everyone chasing Alex Garcia, who to this point in the year, TJ, I think had only scored 9 points. Best finish of 6th was his only points finish on the year. And that's for the Skip Barber Racing team. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Copeland, I think, is undefeated on the year. Is that right?
Yes. No, Spike was able to take a victory, and so that is for Tech Sports. So they are all 1-1. Fourth and fifth place have been told to swap around on the track. That's Yuki Sano and Spike Kohlbecker, and it looks like they have just done that on the circuit. So Spike Kohlbecker will be in P4, Yuki Sano will be in P5. A little bit more work to do here for Yuki, but as you can see on your screen there, they have made that swap on the track.
Does not look like the rain is coming down on the front straightaway, at least, and that would be encouraging. I even see a little bit of sunshine breaking through some of the cloud cover out the window. So hopefully that means there is a chance of getting this race restarted. We are under the safety car right now. We started under the safety car too. Once we got to green, it was a wonderful race in drying conditions until the rain started to come down even more. And it finally got to the point where there was standing water around the circuit. Race control really had no choice but to put the safety car back out onto the racetrack. But it's been relatively incident-free, he says, while knocking very firmly on wood, until we had the safety car four-track conditions.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a couple of moments of a little bit of door banging here at this point, a couple of cars going off, but that's all to be expected when you're racing hard. But Ryan, to your point earlier about wanting to see this race go back to green, it looks like the lights are out on the safety car. I think we're going back to green flag conditions here at the conclusion of this lap.
All right, Alex Garcia drove his way to the front, but can he keep it there? If he's going to do so, he's got to keep Jackson Bell and Gresham Wagner at bay. How about the newcomer, Yuki Sano, who's now in fifth, Spike Kohlbecker in the fourth spot. Weston Workman's been up at the front of this thing from time to time. And then further down in the order, what can Jade Avedisian do? She's got the fastest lap of the race. She's made her way from the back of the pack to 14th. Could a top 10 be in the cards today?
Well, we've also got to remember here who Jade is driving for and who is giving some advice to that team. She is part of the SRO Motorsports paddock in that group. And they, of course, have a very seasoned GR Cup veteran in the form of Tyler Gonzalez as their sort of silent advisor, helping them out behind the scenes and giving advice to those drivers. So I'm sure that that is certainly helping Jade along, but obviously the car control here for her has been absolutely spectacular. There you can see her in that Mobil 1 machine. Always a classic livery, always beautiful to see on the track there on the number 24 as she goes through the kink.
It is sharp, and to have Tyler in your ear, he knows of what he speaks. Just going back to what he did in this championship last year, he was great in qualifying earlier today for the Pirelli GT4 America race, which is coming up yet this evening. So certainly an up-and-coming star in Toyota machinery, and someone who could provide untold information and knowledge to a young driver like Jade Avedisian.
Yeah, as we do get ready to go back to green flag conditions, normally I would say going into Canada Corner is going to be one of your best opportunities to pass, but as we just saw them on the screen, that is a very treacherous area. Almost looks like some standing or running water down at that point, so drivers are going to take note of that. They're going to be careful about it, but what they're really going to take note of here is Alex Garcia in that blue and pink machine at the front of the field for Skip Barber Racing. As they come out of the final corner and get onto the loud pedal, we are back to racing. You see some cars starting to poke their way out of line. Ryan, as you said earlier, that column rule not necessarily in effect here on a restart. And here we go. Green flag back in the air. We are racing once more at Road America. 3 wide, farther back in the field as that looks like that's Lucas Weisenberg getting absolutely swallowed. Jade Avedisian on the move.
Yes, she is. Everyone on those Continental wet weather tires, but the battle is now for the lead as Bell lets it swing around the outside of Garcia. They go door to door. Slight contact is made, but the two are able to collect it back together. The battle continues to rage through turn 2 down to turn 3. Garcia to the inside, Bell to the outside.
And it looks like they almost might be Noah's Ark down into the corner as Gresham Wagner and Spike Kohlbecker thought about bringing that along, but they're still side by side for the front. Garcia and Bell. Wagner tucked in behind the number 99 machine here at this point. Kohlbecker right behind. Yuki Sano trying to be able to gain some positions up as well.
Freight train starting to form on the inside lane in the run down to turn 5. That's all behind Bell, who has raced his way to the top spot. It's side by side for second place now between Wagner and Garcia. Wagner's got the preferred line to the inside. Garcia hangs to his door, He's at the flank still and lets it run around the outside, puts the power down, and the battle continues up the hill, although Wagner looks to have taken that spot, and Kohlbecker followed him through.
Yeah, I think there what happened was that was Garcia caught a little bit of the outside run and kind of hit over onto that. And it looks like we've got another car that's inserted itself up into that battle. I didn't get a good eye on it here at this point. It's not Yuki Sano. Is that Weir that's made his way up through there? No, excuse me, that is Spike Kohlbecker. No, that is Weir. That is Weir up into 5th.
Yeah, great restart. He was 8th on the restart. He makes his way to 5th. That drops Sano down to 6th. They'll settle back in, look to gather that momentum under these different track conditions than we saw the last time we were under green. Wagner has it way sideways, makes a great save in the middle of the carousel there, but that's going to cost him dearly in his pursuit of the race lead. Meanwhile, side by side through the carousel further back.
Oh, that got really sketchy in there. You can see the spray on the back half of this circuit. This is where you have got to know this course inside and out, but this is also where I'd look for Yuki Sano to attack. He's been devilishly quick through this section of the track, but Jackson Bell starting to streak away at the front of the field. Rooster tails flying up into the air.
Garcia got drop-kicked from the lead of this race down to 4th. It's Bell sprinting away. Everyone bottled up behind Gresham Wagner at the moment because he's got his hands full with an ill-handling race car in treacherous conditions. Sano goes wide. Others go wide behind him. Bell continues to show the way. Wagner runs 2nd, but he's got all kinds of pressure behind.
Yeah, really trying to push. That's Bell. Bell's made a mistake coming through Bill Mitchell Bend. He is up and out onto the grass. That's going to drop him down to at least 3rd position. Gresham Wagner re-inherits the lead of the race.
How about that? Wagner goes back to the point on a day that it looked like it might go somebody else's way, and it still might because the battle is not done yet. Coming up the hill, change of the lead once again. It's Kohlbecker who has gone from 4th on the restart to the lead. 1 lap later with just 5 minutes to go. It is a 6-car freight train roaring down into turn number 1.
And Garcia is back into the fray as well, trying to work to the outside there of Gresham Wagner. A little bit of a wider line for him as there Wagner takes it out wide and other drivers taking it even wider, but Garcia made that wide line work. He's going to try to hold it to the inside here of Gresham Wagner into turn 3. Not normally an overtaking opportunity, but they're going to set things up, and Jackson Bell lurks in behind.
Yeah, Bell looking to atone for the little miscue there through Billy Mitchell Bend. That cost him a couple of positions. He's already on the charge once more. He's right there behind Wagner, possibly giving him a helpful nudge or two down the straightaway. Kohlbecker shows the way. Wagner now alone in 2nd. The fight is with Garcia and Kohlbecker for that 3rd spot. Garcia, though, makes it a fight for the 2nd spot now as he lunges to the outside of Wagner, leaning on him there. Just behind is the next car in line. Side by side, still making that run up the hill.
And that is going to be Christian Weir trying to take a look to the inside there of Garcia. That door has opened, and it looks like, oh, big off there for Weston Workman. And also, welcome to the fight, Henry Drury, the Precision Racing LA driver with PT Autosports. That blue number 44, he's up in the battle as well. This is a great run for him. He started in 16th.
Yeah, this has been just a fantastic race. Certainly at the start, but since the restart, everybody tied together. Top 8 covered by 1.4 seconds at the line the last time by. So much good battling all throughout the field, but it's Kohlbecker out in front. Garcia, who's been in the lead, now finds himself all the way back in the 6th spot.
This just keeps shuffling around here at this point, and I'm not sure if you can pick who's going to win. Oh, Garcia thought about going too wide through the kink. He better fall back in the line on that one because that is not going to work in these wet conditions. But he's going to try to get a run here on Henry Drury. Spike Kohlbecker up at the front of the field, starting to pull away here a little bit. As there's some side-by-side farther back. Everybody trying to find a position going down into Canada Corner. That's Gresham Wagner. That is Weir. And it looks like Weir's going to go to the inside of the Copeland Motorsport driver. They're going to be contact. That's going to be Garcia around.
He got hip checked off track into the sand. Looks like he's able to keep it rolling, though. That's good. That lets us stay green flag racing. But heartbreak for Garcia, who was leading this race when the safety car came out just past the halfway mark. Looks like it should be the white flag this time by DJ with Spike Kohlbecker looking for another race win.
Kohlbecker trying to do what he can here for Tech Sport Racing. This could be a very good day for them as there is, that's Mia Lovell, very slow. There's another car around. That's the 09 machine spinning off into the background. My goodness gracious, that's Matty Oust.
Yeah, tough luck there for Mad Dog. Matty Oust as the white flag waves here above Road America and in front of Spike Kohlbecker, the St. Louis area native who's out in front. He won one race earlier this year in VIR, and he's got a healthy 1.5 second lead.
Oh, big off to the outside there for Gresham Wagner. He able to hold on to that thing. My goodness gracious, but that's going to plummet him down the order, as now we've got a battle for the second place position between Jackson Bell and Henry Drury.
And for Henry Drury, what a run. I think his best finish this season has been 7th. He finds himself in podium contention here and has one pass to make to get up to 2nd. Great race so far for Henry.
And I know he has got some friends and some folks from around the country, particularly in St. Louis right now, watching, cheering him on. So he is going to be hearing that from all over as they push their way forward right now. Drury pushing down into the corner, trying to take the move on Jackson Bell. Both cars getting a little bit slideways. They've got to be careful. That's Christian Weir right behind him. One mistake by either of those drivers, Weir will pounce.
Yeah, for sure. Christian looking for a big podium finish if he can, but he will need a little help from the two in front of him, it would appear. Drury from London made the move to the United States and had been in the Florida area for quite some time. Former competitive figure skater who's turned his attention to motorsports. Sitting there in the 3rd spot, the number 44 machine, putting the pressure on Jackson Bell, and the two together are making some inroads. That gap to Kohlbecker is starting to come down.
Yeah, it certainly is, and you can see Bell taking a little bit of a narrower line there through the carousel, just trying to see if he can get any sort of advantage on Spike Kohlbecker, dropping down through the order. Oh, there, it's very sad day. Incident responsibility for Yuki Sano, who's dropped down to 7th place position. We've been singing his praises all day, but look at this. Good run coming through the kink for Jackson Bell. Could he have a run here on Kohlbecker?
I think he could. Kohlbecker's going to need to be perfect through Canada corner to prevent him from coming under too much pressure. Bell looking to the outside. Kohlbecker guards the inside jealously. Bell not close enough to bounce this time, just a couple of corners to go.
Drury, though, gets a better run through Canada corner, thinks about through Bill Mitchell Bend, putting pressure to the back of Jackson Bell, but that's not going to play itself out. 1, 2, 3, they come through Bill Mitchell Bend. One corner to go here for Spike Kohlbecker, but he has got to rebuff the attacks of Jackson Bell. Drury also looking down to the inside. Bell almost giving him a little bit of a bump as they come onto the main straightaway. Here they go. It is going to be a draft fest and a drag race up the hill here at Road America. Who will be able to come to the flag first? It's going to be Spike Kohlbecker, able to take victory here in GR Cup North America. Jackson Bell and Henry Drury round out your podium.
Fantastic finish. Here's another drag race to the line, a little bit further down. Looks like that was Weisenberg and Rabe, as well as Muldoon in that same general vicinity, as they were fighting for the positions just outside of the top 10. Wow. More wet weather racing, please, says I. That's been a lot of fun. Good, clean racing, hard racing, a couple of incidents, but all things considered, the only yellow was for track conditions. That was an excellent showcase of what Toyota GR Cup North America is all about. Congratulations to Spike Kohlbecker, picking up his 2nd victory of the season. It's the 4th of his career in GR86 Cup. Nice result for that Tech Sport Racing team here today. And extends his streak of podiums now to 4 in a row. Just his 2nd year driving in tin tops after a number of years racing in single-seaters. Finished 3rd in the USF4 Championship a couple of years ago to Kohlbecker. Had a couple of incidents late in the going. This was Jackson Bell leading the race at the time. Great save, all things considered. Then this was a little bit later on, and that's the contact. Sano into the side of Garcia. Sano was issued a penalty for that contact, and Garcia had to retire the car after limping back to the pit lane. Just a little bit of the late race chaos that we saw unfold in the final few laps. Well, just how close was it? The top 3 were separated by less than 0.6 of a second, and in Toyota GR Cup, that should come as absolutely no surprise. Kohlbecker, Bell, Drury, his first podium of the season. Great result for Henry. You see Yuki Sano in 6th. That will not hold up. That penalty will be a time penalty converted from a drive-through, assessed in the final standings, but that has not been assessed yet on our timing and scoring here, so Yuki Sano will not be credited with 6th place, but did put on a show for us here today. Kohlbecker, Bell, Drury, that's the podium. Then it's Weir, Weston, Workman in the 5th spot, and then bump everybody up 1 position. Devin Anderson, he told me this weekend he was going to have a couple of good races, and I'd say finishing just outside of the top 5 would count. Jordan Rick-Sigrini, Luke Rumberg, and Stephen Clements rounding up the top 10. Points leader Gresham Wagner, first finish outside the points all season long. He finishes down in 11th. Avedizian, by the way, did still hang on for that fastest lap of the race, but got shuffled back on the restart. Finds herself down at 20th in the final analysis, but certainly had an interesting race. Got as high as 14th at one point when the safety car came out and appeared to be carving her way through the field. Drama-filled afternoon for Toyota GR Cup. A couple of others to note. Andrew Gilliland there in 21st. James Klimas, Ramon Llano. Matty Alst we saw with the issue late in the going. And then Alex Garcia, who led at about the halfway mark. Just climbed from his car a moment ago. Got a hug of consolation from his team, because that could have been his best result to date this season. Despite not scoring points, Wagner's lead is still relatively healthy, but it has shrunk, as you would expect, relative to Weston Workman, who will be credited with 5th place here today, down to a 33-point advantage at this stage. Kohlbecker, though, climbs a little bit closer into that fight for 2nd. It is awfully tight behind Wagner, and as you can see, one off weekend like this one, and that massive lead that Gresham Wagner had worked so hard to build, it could go away quickly if fortune does not smile on you. There's Spike Kohlbecker. I assume the number 4, indicating it's his 4th win in the series. It's his 2nd this season. And there's the Tech Sport team there to congratulate him. The win at VIR would have been very special because that's where the team is based. But for him to come up here to Road America, pick up a win, that is a big achievement for sure. Helmet is off, and very soon we'll have a chance to hear from the race 1 winner. He earned that one. It was a feisty battle throughout the course of that one, from the drop of the green flag to the checkered there at the end. Final margin of victory, less than 0.2 of a second, 0.198 to be precise, for the Tech Sport Racing driver Spike Kohlbecker, who puts the Continental collar on, takes a sip of refreshing water, and we'll have a chance to hear from him now with DJ Clark, who is scampered down to victory lane.
Spike Kohlbecker, another win for you here at the National Park of Speed. You had to fight for that one, my friend.
Oh my gosh, I can't thank the team enough. As you can hear, I'm out of breath. I was enjoying the celebration lap. And yeah, I had to fight for that one. That was mixed conditions. We're dropping back, then catching back up, and made the move at the right time. So thank you to Tech Sport. Thank you to everyone that's watching at home.
I want to talk to you about that last couple of corners there. Lots of pressure coming in from Jackson Bell. It looked like you pretty much just drove your own line there and had the speed to be able to hold him off. How much were you looking in the rearview mirror?
I knew that I was going to take the last lap a little bit more cautious. Wet, a lot of people going off, and I didn't want to make a mistake, so I'd rather defend than make a mistake there. But yeah, good race.
Good race indeed, Spike. Congratulations, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's 4 podiums in a row, so thank you to Tech Sport.
All right, that answers that mystery. The 4 fingers was for the 4 straight podiums, not the 4 career wins, but it works either way. Plenty to celebrate for Tech Sport Racing. Spike Kohlbecker, who gets the win in race 1 here at America's National Park of Speed, Road America. Race 1 highlights, and we'll have a lot to sort through. It was a delayed start due to the changing conditions, so a single file start. But once we got going, we had a battle everywhere we looked. Yuki Sano was the star of the show in the early stages. Here was Jackson Bell fighting with Gresham Wagner. That was for the lead into turn 5. Not the last time the lead would change in the race today, because then the rain came and Sano came charging through, got to the inside of Bell. A couple of cars went flying off, including Sano, who dropped outside of the top 5 at that moment. And as you can see, the rain really started to come down, the water starting to accumulate, and with it, we had to go behind the safety car. On the restart, Alex Garcia got swallowed up by Bell, made a little bit of contact. Wagner was in the mix here too at the restart of the race. Bell drove to the lead, but at this moment here, big save to salvage something. But he did lose the lead to Wagner. Wagner then would settle back. Garcia got punted off there by Sano, who was penalized for that. And Kohlbecker ends the day on the top step of the podium, picking up his 4th consecutive podium in GR Cup.